patient safety and experience in today's times, I guess the difficult times of the pandemic times, the concept actually that the patients could be harmed while receiving medical care has been known for thousands of years, since Hippocrates coined the phrase "first do no harm." So everybody knew since then that there is going to be a chance of some harm or patient safety issues. And actually, the most serious medical errors are committed by competent caring people doing what other competent caring people would do, and then errors do end up happening. But what we can do best is to ensure that our systems are protected to the best degree by ensuring that leadership is involved in it. Having a common set of safety metrics which are used to measure the effective outcomes and expected outcomes. Addressing the safety across the care continuum, supporting the healthcare workforce, partnering with patients and families for the safest care in a way that even they are equally responsible for this care. For example, that if we are talking about partnering with patients and their families, it's about how do they feel equally responsible. Do they make an effort in asking what medication is being given to the patient, or what medication, what's the purpose it is for? Knowing and then signing the consent forms and understanding what are they signing up for. Being more proactive and transparent, and asking questions, getting clarifications, and also informing their condition and their status as to what is it that's going on with them and what is it that they're seeking for. So besides this, also ensuring that the technology is safe and it is optimized to improve patient safety at all levels. From an accreditation perspective, however, these complete standards around disaster, epidemic management actually came in very handy in these times. Because, we had the plans, we had the identified resources, our staff has been trained, the different communication strategies that we had laid in place before itself, whether it is about internal communication or external communication, the different isolation strategies, assignment of the staff roles and responsibilities, and also testing the complete system at continuous intervals. So it was not that we had to actually start from a scratch, but then we were almost prepared to deal with such kind of a pandemic. While medical discoveries about COVID-19 treatment drew a lot of media headlines, the quieter systemic innovations focused on creating strategies to keep the workers safe and then, deploying them effectively, which also included the new ways of creative staffing. How are we cohorting to avoid burnout of the frontline workers, as well as prevent staff infections, and in parallel, giving care to the patients that they need, while also preserving the hospital resources. The daily PPE counts, or looking at, using the PPE calculator that we developed, the constant training and supervision in terms of our protocols. And that had been a new normal for us for almost last 4 or 5 months. As far as patient experience is concerned, we have also started moving from evaluating satisfaction to experience. And most of the times, these two words are used interchangeably by most of the people, and the difference is not well understood by many. Patient satisfaction is most of the time, it's actually a very subjective measure, while experience is more objective. When we take a feedback from patient and ask them, how was your doctor? How was your nurse? Did you get the, was the food okay? Or, was your room cleaned well? The answers to that is more on the subjective terms. And it is generally based on their preference of, what kind of room or what kind of food was given to them. But when we ask them an experience related question and ensure that their, your requirements are fulfilled, then you're actually doing the right thing. It's not about focusing on what did, if they like the nurse or not, but it's about focusing on if the nurse did the right job, what she was expected to do or not. For example, asking patients if their doctors wash their hands before touching them or not, if the nurses identified them before giving medications or not, or if they were given the right information about implants when patients underwent a total knee replacement. And these all things require a lot of change and understanding at the leadership level also, because we need to be confident enough to go up front and ask these questions to patients and their families, so that we continuously correct our processes. And during these times, especially, the one thing that I learned was what I call it as minimal contact operations. That, how do you ensure that you have fulfilled the requirements of safety, preventing infections from a staff, patient, family perspective, as well as you have given a good experience to your patients, and not about satisfaction, but a good experience. How can you shorten or, streamline the processes to reduce the connect points? So for example, if you look at the discharge process, and which is one of the most painful processes for most of the hospitals, it's always, into multiple steps. It takes a lot of time, creates a lot of bad experience in terms of patients, what patients go through. So understanding the whole discharge process, and then, creating systems, getting technology in, going through a lean management process wherein you cut down the steps and you understand how can you improve the whole outcome, making sure that from a safety perspective, the discharge summary that goes out is checked. So, how do we synchronize and how do we shorten this whole process in lines with what are we aiming to achieve or what are we aiming to deliver to our patients? So I think, looking at this whole minimal contact perspective, from the point of cutting down the contact points wherein the staff of the hospital gets in touch with the patient or the family needs to move towards these to the staff where the staff is located in the hospital. By removing all these things, reducing a lot of this stuff, we can improve experience, we can reduce the turnaround times, as well as, we can reduce the chances of infection and create that positivity in the patient's mind that, they are safe, that they can trust the healthcare provider, the brand, and also that they can happily, get well inside the hospital, and then, stay safe once they leave the organization. However, life is different today, and we will continue, and it is continuing to be different. We need to continuously adapt ourselves to the environment. Every change in the manner we function will resolve one problem, but it will obviously always present other multiple issues for us. The question that comes is that, is there an end to this? Not exactly. As long as healthcare is human intensive, which it will always remain, errors will remain to happen. Patient safety will continue to be challenged, while what we need is to continuously challenge ourselves and move towards reducing harm. And that is what I think, we have learned for the past 15 years from an accreditation perspective. And that is what we continue to follow and take it forward to move continuously, stepping up and moving to the next levels. Thank you so much for the event, and thanks a lot.